Hi, my name's Leah. I am a Master Reef Guide and Marine Biologist here at Passions of Paradise in Cairns, Queensland. We come out to the Great Barrier Reef every single day, and we are a massive part of ecotourism and eco-education. And as a part of that, we come out a few times a month to do some coral nurturing or coral planting as a part of the Coral Nurture program. So we come out a few times a month and we inspect our nurseries, which are these temporary structures that we use to grow coral on. Coral is naturally sourced from the reef, so any broken coral that we find around the reef, we try to give it a second chance at life by attaching it onto these metal frames. If they're big and strong enough, we will remove them off of the frames, put them into our little baskets, and we're going to move around the reef looking for empty spots that we can plant some baby corals. So we take our little coral clips, what are these little metal nails that were developed by the University of Technology in Sydney, and we put those into the reef, and there's a little metal arm that comes out of the clip, and we just squeeze those corals underneath that little metal clip. So nice and secure under there, they're going to grow themselves over the clip and onto the reef wall. And after about a year or so, the clips will start rusting away and the corals will hold themselves on naturally. So when we attach the coral onto the frame, we want to give it at least a year before we start using it to outplant on top of the reef. And then once they're planted, it takes about 3 to 6 months for them to get established. The easiest species that we've been growing is Acropora, which is a branching coral species. It's very fast growing. It grows at least 10 centimeters per year, but has been known to grow up to 40 centimeters per year. So it's a very easy, fast growing coral. But we are moving towards growing more heat tolerant corals and diversifying the type of corals that we're planting at our sites to increase resilience. We've been doing this since 2019. We have planted over 10,000 corals and we have about a 60 to 80% survival rate. Corals are very simple animals, and it's kind of like when you propagate plants in your garden. So you cut off a small piece and then put it into the soil and let it grow. We do something very similar with the corals. So there's actually 3 ways that corals can reproduce. They clone their polyps, they can fragment themselves and get wedged into the reef, or they can sexually reproduce. So we're doing that fragmentation process, which is already a natural process for how the coral reproduces. And again, it's just like propagating plants in your garden. So no, it doesn't really hurt them too much. All part of our site stewardship here on the Great Barrier Reef for the Marine Park Authority and being a part of the Coral Nurture program as well. Thanks so much for joining us today to learn a little bit more about what Passions of Paradise does to help the Great Barrier Reef as a part of our ecotourism and eco-education. If it weren't for all of you coming out on Passions, we wouldn't be able to do this kind of work. So we really appreciate you joining in to learn a little bit about it, and we hope to see you out on the reef soon.